Hi, folks. Aaron Dorr here with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. And if you have not seen our Facebook Live videos from the last couple of days, you might not know about Eric Greitens' recent attack on the Second Amendment Preservation Act. And if you have not heard about this, this video is a must-watch for gun owners here in Missouri. But it's not just for gun owners. In this video, we're going to give some free consulting to Eric Greitens' campaign, since obviously your consultants suck. And we're going to tell you the top 5 steps that you can take, Eric, to try to salvage the dumpster fire that you have made out of your campaign in the last couple of days, because what you have done is virtually unforgivable as far as gun owners are concerned here in Missouri. So, guys, if you're not sure what I'm talking about, here is a quick recap. A couple of days ago, in a statewide podcast-based interview, Eric Greitens came out and just took a beating going after the Second Amendment Preservation Act. He attacked the law. He attacked the guys who made it happen. And he attacked the gun owners, the grassroots gun owners who pushed this so hard in Jeff City. It's hard to believe. And in fact, some of you have said, this didn't happen. Okay, fair enough. Just Google it. It's all over the internet. The media in Missouri is devouring this because what he did was shocking. The first thing that Eric Greitens said was that SAPA law, he said, would allow cops to be prosecuted. Everyone knows that's crap. Everyone knows there are civil penalties in SAPA against departments. There's nothing against individual officers, and dang sure not criminal charges. So that's completely crap. Number 2, he said this bill defunds the police. Doesn't defund the police at all. It diverts the police, and it has Missouri cops focus on enforcing Missouri law, because that's what we want, Eric. We don't want them to enforce federal law. We don't want them to enforce Joe Biden's tyrannical gun control agenda. We want them to enforce Missouri gun laws, and that's what SAPA does. So nothing about this would defund the police. Eric also said, everything he said was so false that it made one political figure, a friend of mine in Jeff City, he said, maybe Eric took the blindfold off of his mistress and put it on his own eyes, because when he read this law, he clearly missed every single thing the law actually did. Because the third thing he said that SAPA does is it precludes any help between local and federal law enforcement agencies. And it's important. On certain types of crimes, the feds have great resources. They can investigate shell casings, was the example that Eric Greitens used. He's right. But if he'd read the bill, which now is law, he would know that we very clearly say any violation of Missouri law allows Missouri authorities to seek the support and assistance from federal agencies. Nothing about this would change if there's an underlying violation of Missouri law. So again, every single thing he said on the policy was an embarrassment, and it was wrong, and it was a lie. But then he goes beyond there, and he attacks the politicians. He calls them the career politicians, the rhinos, who made this happen. This is a familiar refrain, right? We all know this. In Eric Greitens' world, everybody is a rhino except for him. Everybody is a moderate except for him. That's what he says. Here's the facts, all right? So here we're going to break this down now, and we're going to make sure everyone knows who he's talking about. He's talking about Eric Burleson. He's talking about Jared Taylor. Eric was the Senate sponsor. Jared was the House sponsor. These are the guys that we have worked with for literally almost, 6-8 years now to pass gun bills. These guys have been relentless champions for freedom. These are the guys he's calling rhinos. Eric Burleson, in his case, when he was in the House, was our lead sponsor who helped us pass constitutional carry, stand your ground law, lifetime carry permits, expanded castle doctrine, and this year's SAPA bill. That's the rhino that he's talking about. So every single thing he said, was a lie. About the policy, about the politics, everything was a lie. So some little birdies, some sources are reaching out to the Missouri Firearms Coalition, And we understand that Eric Greitens now knows that he has made an absolute dumpster fire out of his campaign. I mean, I'm not sure what you expected. I mean, you come out and attack the most beloved bill that has ever passed into law here in Missouri protecting our gun rights. You thought that was going to be a good thing? I don't know how you thought that. But so now he's trying to figure out, what can I do? What kind of damage control can I engage in to try to fix all this? So without any further ado, Eric and your consultants, these are the top 5 things that we think you should do if you want to have any chance of salvaging your campaign for Senate here in Missouri. Number one, start by apologizing to gun owners for never lifting a finger for them when you actually had power. Because let's not forget, folks, the story here. In 2016, when he ran for governor, we had just passed constitutional carry, and Governor Nixon vetoed it. We were going through the veto override process. Every other Republican candidate seeking the nomination came out and supported constitutional carry. Eric Greitens refused. Then, days before he even was sworn as governor, he made administrative changes that made it against the rules and, by extension, against the law for gun owners, for us to carry firearms in our own state capital. It had been legal since the building opened in 1917. It was good enough for almost 100 years through multiple world wars, but under Eric Greitens' short tenure as governor, it was no longer allowed until that's been changed a little bit since that time. So this guy, despite all of your fancy campaign videos, Eric, you did nothing. You did nothing for gun owners when you were governor. You did harmful things, in fact, instead. So start by apologizing to everybody for doing nothing when you were in a position to actually help us. Number 2, though, and much more personally, you'd better apologize directly to grassroots gun owners here in Missouri. Grassroots gun owners, the folks you're courting now for votes, we are the ones that pushed and pushed and pushed to make SAPA into law here in Missouri. And when you arrogantly, condescendingly, dismissively attack SAPA and say that if you're tactical, if you're in the know, you know how bad this was, when you say all that crap, you're impugning us. You're impugning gun owners in Missouri that made this happen. So you better start, again, by apologizing to gun owners. Now, I want to be clear on this. We don't want a political speak apology. I want to be really clear, Eric. You better get down on your knees. You better put some, it's going to be hard for you. You better put some humility in your voice. And you better watch your tone, son. And you better humbly ask gun owners to forgive you for attacking the biggest expansion of their gun rights in Missouri history. And for that matter, the largest expansion of gun rights in America this year, anyway, so far to date, because that is what SAPA has been. So you'd better apologize to gun owners. But number 3, you had better also, damn sure, apologize to the legislators, the pro-gun champions for freedom who made this happen in Jeff City. Don't forget, folks. Don't forget. He said the guys that did this were career politicians and rhinos. Again, in Eric Greitens' world, everybody is a rhino. Everybody. The truth is that Jared Taylor in the House and Eric Burleson in the Senate have done more to expand 2A freedom in Missouri than anybody perhaps in the history of Missouri politics. And every gun owner in the state knows that to be true. So after you apologize to gun owners, you had better humbly, and I want to stress that again, Eric, you better have some humility in the tone of your voice when you apologize to Eric Burleson. Now we're going down the Senate chamber first. Eric Burleson, Bob Onder, who fought like hell for this on the floor, Bill Eigel, who got this bill out of committee in record time for us, and Rick Bratton, who also fought 10 rounds on the Senate floor when this bill was up for debate. In fact, The arguments that these guys fought against, especially Rick Bratton and Bob Onder, were the same arguments that you're now making falsely about SAPA. These guys fought like dogs. You better apologize to all of them. In the House, Jared Taylor deserves your deepest regretful apology, as does Speaker Vescovo. Speaker Vescovo didn't just advance the bill. He made this, if memory serves, one of, if not the first bill to move out of the House this year, and it happened in February, a record turnaround time for a bill of this type. And that was all done because, again, Speaker Vescovo and Jared Taylor fought to make this happen. You lied about them. You lied about them. Shame on you, Eric. And you better apologize to all of these guys, in addition to the gun owners who made this a reality this year here in Missouri. Disgusting stuff. Number 4, if you're trying to fix the dumpster fire of your campaign, Eric, you had better sign, and I mean quickly, son, the Missouri Firearms Coalition candidate survey when we get it to you after the filing deadline is over, because clearly we can't trust a single thing you say. So we want to know, and we want you to sign the survey on the dotted line, and somehow, maybe it's just me, but somehow I think Eric Schmidt is going to tell gun owners where he stands on our survey. I think that Mark McCloskey is going to be very quick to tell gun owners where he stands on the Second Amendment. Dave Schatz, not so much. The question is, what will you do? You're now a known liar when it comes to gun rights here in Missouri. You're a known liar. So we can't take you at your word. All your cool, tough guy machine gun videos, it all counts for nothing. We know that now. And so the question is, will you answer the survey on the record, sign the dotted line, and tell gun owners on paper how you'll vote on universal background checks or red flag gun seizure laws or efforts to ban our AR-15s? We want to know in writing what you'll do. But that's not all. We want to know what you'll do to actually fight for gun owners. Will you sponsor bills to abolish the ATF? Will you sponsor bills to abolish the Gun-Free School Zones Act, for example? Will you sponsor bills to enact national reciprocity? We want to know. Don't just tell us how pro-gun you are. Put your name on the dotted line because, again, your word has no weight anymore here in Missouri. And step number 5, and final step, in everything that you do, in all the apologies that you make, I want to remind you, and I've said it before now in this video, I want to say it again. Watch the tone in your voice. Watch the arrogance and the condescension in your mannerisms. Watch the way you carry yourself as you apologize, because you have come across as the most arrogant, condescending ass that we have seen, certainly in this cycle and perhaps in all of the cycles in recent memory here in Missouri. And so you had better make this apology humble, sincere, and convincing. Now, you may be asking yourself, what's in this for me? What's in this for me? Are gun owners going to forgive me? That's a fair question, Eric. That's a fair question. And the answer is, I can't promise you anything. I can't give you any guarantees. I don't speak for our members on an individual basis, but I can tell you this, if you don't apologize, if you don't get humble, and I mean real quick, I can promise you, I can guarantee you that your campaign will self-implode into, again, a absolute dumpster fire. So I can't promise they're going to believe you. A liar is hard to believe. But if you don't try to undo this, I can tell you what's going to happen. Again, for gun owners watching this, we all know now. We all know. And just before I go off there, I want to be clear to the consultants who are watching this. This is not a point of humor. These 5 steps, we mean this. We expect this to happen. If you don't do it, Eric, that's your prerogative. That's your prerogative. We can't make you apologize. But Kathy Swan thought she didn't have to apologize for opposing constitutional carry either. And she got lit on fire politically and destroyed in 2020. Jack Bonden didn't do a damn thing for gun owners in the House for 8 years. He thought he could just dismiss all of that and have no problem in his primary in 2020, and Nope, he's not in office either. David Cole, party chairman, power player, big money guy. He thought he could support red flag gun seizure laws and get away with that crap. He didn't want to apologize either. He's not in office right now anymore either, of any kind. So you can roll the dice, Eric. That's fine. It's your campaign. It's your prerogative. But gun owners have become relentless here in Missouri. We don't trust party labels anymore. We never have for this organization, as a matter of fact. Never trusted them. We trust one thing. We trust what people do. We don't trust what you say. We only trust one thing. What have you actually done in the fight for freedom? And as we said, you've done nothing. You've done nothing. Eric Burleson lifted the weights. He lifted huge advancements of freedom and made them a reality here in Missouri. Jared Taylor, same thing. These guys have fought. They've earned the respect of gun owners. You haven't. So think hard. Think hard. You can try to ignore it. That's fine. You can just choose to say screw off. That's fine. But you better think hard, because so did Kathy Swan and all the rest of those names I mentioned, and they're all not in politics anymore today. Folks, that's the video update I want you to see. Please take a moment, share this on your social media feeds, share it by email. However you come across this video, share it far and wide. And folks, get involved in the Missouri Firearms Coalition. Join up today as a member. Join MOFC.com. Join MOFC.com, or go to our website, MissouriFirearmsCoalition.org. We're not here to play nice. We don't protect parties. We don't protect politicians. We fight for freedom. Please join us today. Again, join MOFC.com.